What's up, guys? Kill 'em Softly here again, and today we are going to be looking at Season 2 of Sea of Thieves. Season 2 has brought a lot of new stuff to Sea of Thieves, so there's a lot of stuff we got to go over, and we're going to do that right now. So obviously there's a new battle pass that is free for everyone. You can obviously, pay the $9.99 to get the premium pass, which I think includes 11 additional items in addition to the free items in the battle pass. Same deal as season 1's battle pass. They have weekly and daily challenges that you can do in order to help you progress through the battle pass. I found the season 1 battle pass to be pretty easy to progress through. Like I didn't feel like I needed to do any of the challenges in order to progress through them. I did notice that in the actual events and different challenges and stuff, they seem to be more geared towards actually doing something that you're not normally gonna do, which I think is pretty interesting. It doesn't really detract from the stuff that you're normally going to do in Sea of Thieves, but a lot of them seem to be like pretty interesting or funny ways to get a renown boost and or gold or doubloon boost too. So I thought that was pretty cool. There's a lot of new cosmetics that they've added in this battle pass. Some of them are items that were currently available in the in-game store. I think the first battle pass actually had more items that were previously available. I think that's cool. I think that this one didn't seem to have a lot of stuff. I know that the Shrouded Ghost set cosmetic for your pirate character, I know that one was previously in the store. I didn't really notice a lot of instances like that. It seemed like this one has a lot more new stuff, and they do say in the patch notes that a lot of these things are going to be added to the store after the season's over with. So even if you don't get them this season, you can still buy them in the in-game store after the fact. So that's kind of cool. Alright, so Emissary Play. Season 2 brings new focus to sailing the Sea of Thieves as trading company emissaries. New rewards, access to raw commodities, and the lure of trade routes all await. And for those who aren't emissaries yet, all the info you need is now available from the companies. Biggest thing right here for me, as someone that's relatively new to Sea of Thieves, one of the things when I first jumped in, I didn't really understand how the emissaries worked. The menus were not very helpful. They've actually added a bunch of UI elements into the company menus that help out new players, and I think that that's amazing because if you want to have a longevity of a game, you want to constantly be having new players coming to your game and playing. Like, you can't just rely on people playing the game for years on years. Eventually, they'll get bored, or new games will come out and they'll go play those. So this is like a big thing in helping new players join into the community. One of the first things that I noticed was that if you're in the company menu, when you look at your title, it actually tells you what the next unlock is going to be when you purchase that title. So before, you just purchased the titles, you didn't really know, for me at least, when I first started playing the game, I didn't purchase the titles because I'm like, I don't want to spend money on that. I don't really care about it, I didn't realize that by purchasing those, you actually unlock higher tier missions. So it will tell you, after you unlock this, you unlock higher tier missions, or you unlock a different piece of the ship set, or a piece of equipment for that emissary. So I think that that's really cool that they added in. It lets new players know what happens when you purchase this thing. One of the really, really cool things that I've been asking for, and they finally put it in, is that you can now purchase commodity crates with the Merchant Alliance emissary. You can only purchase them once every 3-day cycle in game, and that goes for any outpost. You can't buy them all up at one outpost and go to the next outpost and buy them up there. It works across the board, which I think is good. The commodity crates are a little pricey. I don't think it's out of reach. I know a lot of people right now, especially people that are Pirate Legends and stuff, are trying to go for the Dark Adventurer sets and stuff, which are really, really expensive. I don't think that it's going to really put a hurting on you. The most expensive one was the storage crate, which obviously is the most valuable thing that you can purchase. But the cool thing is the wood crates, the cannonball crates, the fruit crates, all come fully stocked. That is really cool in my opinion. If the storage crates came fully stocked, that'd be a little OP. I think it's nice that you can just buy them in general. Like I've been begging for that. I'm like, please, let's just buy them, you know, like I'd be willing to pay money to buy these straight out the gate, because it's so frustrating, especially as a solo player, to like have to loot up the island before you set out on your adventure, you know? So now this is going to make it easier. You can just bring the crate around with you, pull everything out of the barrels on the island, and hop on your ship and set out sail. The merchant inventory can now be found at each outpost for players to reference which commodity crates are currently sought after at each outpost. Outpost supply and demand is constantly shifting, so check the inventory each week for the latest on where these commodities can be sold for profit. So what this is, the commodity crates actually have a supply and demand system in the game now. So before, like if you had a wood crate, you just sold it at the Merchant Alliance emissary. But now apparently certain outposts are gonna have a demand for certain commodity crates. So like one outpost may be wanting cannonball crates, one outpost may be wanting wood crates. So that kind of like changes up the way that the Merchant Alliance works. Like you're not just dumping things, and it kind of adds, like what they're saying, these like kind of trade route things where you would want to navigate to different outposts to sell things to get more money for it. I have not tried this out yet. Like I said, I don't really play the Merchant Alliance that much, so you know, this is definitely piquing my interest. Like I would be more interested in doing that now, and I think that's kind of the reasoning behind Rare adding this stuff into the game. They probably saw like people aren't really doing the Merchant Alliance stuff that much. This will kind of incentivize those people to kind of dive into it, you know, explore the Merchant Alliance a little more than maybe they're normally doing. Alright, so there are new emissary ledger rewards. I assume that means they're going to add more rewards for each emissary. So when you're in the emissary menu, when you see like the titles and the little cosmetics or equipment items or ship set items, I think that means that they're adding new stuff in. And this says new titles for all tiers along with new cosmetic rewards for the top 2 tiers. So that means if you've maxed out in an emissary, that they're going to have 2 more rewards for the top tiers. That's how I'm understanding this. So that's pretty cool. That gives, you know, veteran players more incentive to want to keep leveling up different emissaries. It, you know, gives them a little like more in-game content to do, which is good to like help retain that long-term player base. So this thing is pretty cool too. They now have a like kind of tutorial in each emissary shop. If you go to the tutorial, it actually breaks down what the emissary is, like how do you earn reputation with that emissary, how do you raise that emissary's flag, which is now called emissary license. And they said they did that because they wanted to reinforce that it's, you know, something that you purchase once, and that that's how you represent that emissary, which for me, again, that was something I didn't really understand when I first started out. I'm like, I don't want, some stupid flag. And I didn't realize that you had to buy that in order to raise that emissary for your boat in order to earn reputation for it. It also explains at the end of it, hey, when you do this, there is another emissary in the game, and if you see it on your map, that means they're going to be hunting down people like you. So I think that's good for new players to understand there's some risk and reward that comes along with trying to raise an emissary flag. All right, so this is the hot tamale right here. This is what everybody's been waiting on. The new world event that's going to be in Sea of Thieves is called the Fort of Fortune, and there's still a little bit of mystery around it. They break down kind of what you're going to be doing and what you can expect from completing one of these forts. It actually sounds pretty freaking crazy. This is going to be the new hotspot. No longer are you going to be seeing a bunch of people crowded around the Fort of the Dam anymore. I think this is going to be the new content giver of Sea of Thieves, for sure. So it says, fought through so many skeleton forts that you no longer fear the challenge. Stand ready when a strange scarred skull cloud announces the awakening of a Fort of Fortune. Loaded with powerful foes and Athena's treasures, for those who can slay them all. I feel like this event is going to be really, really difficult to pull off in the very beginning. Like, you're really going to have your wits about you to complete this thing, I think. The Fort of Fortune features more challenging enemy waves, with captains appearing more regularly. Defeated captains drop the location of a useful item to use in the battle ahead. From ammo crates and kegs to chests of rage and the mighty Ashen Wind Skull. This is saying that the captains, when you're fighting this fort, are going to be dropping ammo crates to kegs, chests of rage, and even the Ashen Wind Skull. And if you didn't know, the Ashen Wind Skull isn't just a commodity item that you can turn in for a bunch of money. The Ashen Wind Skull is also a weapon. You can run around with this thing and it like shoots fire out like a flamethrower. So it sounds to me like if they're saying that they're going to give you an Ashen Skull from captains that are appearing in waves, that must mean that this thing is going to be really difficult, because you're probably going to be incentivized to use that thing to take out the waves of skeletons. And then it says the final waves will pit crews against savage skeleton lords before they finally face up to an even fiercer foe. Not only are you going to be facing skeleton lords from previous forts, they're going to essentially be like a pre-boss. Like, that's not even the final boss for this thing. It's just all around sounds like it's going to be one hell of a event to try to do. I think it's going to be hella content when it comes to having other pirates coming and trying to take it from you, and having other pirates messing with you while you're trying to fight freaking skeleton lords and captains, and apparently some even crazier thing that you're going to fight at the very end. It just sounds nuts, man. So once you've completed all of that and fought the crazy boss, the vault inside this thing is going to be stacked to the brim with premium stuff, which again is going to incentivize people to want to steal it. So this thing is going to have all kinds of Athena's Fortune stuff inside of it, as well as stronghold rewards. So like the stronghold gunpowder barrels, stronghold skulls, stronghold chests. It's also going to have, the usual ancient bone dust, captain's chest, exotic silks, ruby mermaid gems. And then apparently the Order of Souls, they're also going to have a reputation tabs that holds accommodations for defeating a Fort of Fortune. So Order of Souls emissaries are actually going to have an extra incentivization to want to do these Forts of Fortune. All in all, like, these things sound absolutely nuts, man. I can't wait to get into the game and try these out. All right, so obviously there's some new cosmetic sets that are in the Pirate Emporium. This new Dark Warsmith set is really freaking cool, man. I think it's probably the best set that they put into the game. Little pirate guy here is pretty badass. The ship though, oh my lord, the ship is like, it's amazing, man. I had to cop all of it, dude. I do want to point out that in the patch notes, if you look all the way down here at the bottom, it says there's a Wars and Paws bundle in the store. You can't find this on Steam like just by searching it. You have to actually click on this link to take you to it. But if you buy it here instead of buying it in the Emporium in the game, you actually get the Dark Warsmith cosmetic set. You get the new dog set, 550 ancient coins and 25,000 gold, and this is only $16. So if you try to buy that stuff in the game, you'd be out a little bit more, and you wouldn't have the 550 ancient coins and the 25,000 gold bonus. All right, so again, on gameplay improvements, these are the new kind of gameplay stuff that they've added into the game. The first one being, like we discussed, the resource crates at the Merchant Alliance. So like I was explaining before, it doesn't matter what outpost you go to. Once you buy all of these in the merchant store, you have to wait 3 in-game days in order to buy some more of them. So you can't just like run around the outpost, snagging these things up and just have a ship full of wood and cannonballs and storage crates and stuff like that. So that's kind of like a balancing thing that they put in. So this is kind of an interesting thing that they've added in. It says whenever you defeat a skeleton captain in Sea of Thieves, players can now find gold pouches left among the debris. These can be collected to award gold to your crew immediately. So that means that any skeleton captain, when you visit an island, there's a skeleton captain there, or if there's a skeleton captain on a voyage that you're doing, or a skeleton captain at a fort that you're doing, they're going to be dropping gold pouches now that you can collect and get gold immediately. I think that's really cool because before, like, if you're passing an island and you see a skeleton captain on the island, you weren't really incentivized to like stop and want to kill it, but you know, I think this actually incentivizes you to want to take out the skeleton captains. With the new addition of this new event, the frequency of the Ashen Lord and Flameheart's Ghost Fleet have been reduced. I think that's good because the Ashen event is really easy to do. It's probably the easiest event of all the events. Like, you can do it solo very easy. With those being reduced though, the skeleton forts are apparently gonna pop up more frequently, and their vaults have been restocked with new rewards. This is kind of interesting because I know personally I don't really go for skeleton fort events just because, one, you can't use your ship to help you fight the event. Two, they're pretty boring. Like, you're just fighting like waves of skeletons and then there's a boss at the end, and they're not that difficult to do. They're just kind of time consuming, and also the rewards are pretty lackluster in them, in my opinion. So that's cool that they've like restocked the rewards in the vault. Hopefully they're better now. I don't think they'll be, you know, as crazy as, you know, the new event or the Fort of the Dam. Like, you probably won't, you know, find like Athena's chest or stuff like that in them, but it sounds like they're trying to incentivize people to want to do these more, because I'm probably not the only one that sees a skeleton fort and I'm just like, nah, I ain't gonna do that event. I'll just wait for the next one. Also, they've reduced the chance of you getting Kraken immediately after a previous world event. I think that's amazing because a Kraken is absolutely annoying. I can't stand it. There's nothing worse than spending, you know, so much time trying to complete an event, probably like fighting off other pirates from stealing it from you, and then you go to leave the event and you immediately get Kraken. Or you get Kraken while you're trying to defend the loot that you just stole. It's really annoying, and I'm glad that they reduced the chance on it. Like, you don't get barely anything from the event, and it's pretty much there just to get on your nerves. So I'm glad for this change. Another change that they've added is when you kill a skeleton ship during a fleet event, it's now going to have seagulls above the loot. This is a complete game changer because I can't tell you how many times I've done skeleton fleet. It becomes chaotic and you like lose track of where you sank a skeleton ship, and then by the time you figure out where it was, the loot's like halfway to the ocean floor. This is a really nice change for the skeleton fleets. It'll make it a lot easier for people to collect all the loot from it. This is probably one of the biggest changes. I can't tell you how many times either I have or I've had an enemy that has sunk and then they respawn literally like 2 islands away from me, and now they're back out on my butt trying to, you know, sink me again. They've now said that you'll be placed at a greater distance from an enemy ship once you've been sunk. No longer are you gonna have to worry about, after sinking somebody, them constantly berating you almost immediately after you sunk them. Especially when you have a bunch of loot on board. They don't have anything to lose, so they can just respawn and immediately come back to your position and try to fight you again. There's a bunch of other little fixes that they've added into the game. There wasn't anything of significant note. If you want to read through them, feel free to look at the patch notes and go through these. None of them were of particular merit that I saw enough to point out to you guys, so feel free to go through that if you want to check it out. Alright guys, that's it for today, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give the video a like, give it that thumbs up, and make sure you are subbed to the YouTube. All your support helps me to keep making these videos, so any and all support that you can give is appreciated. I am absolutely ecstatic to hop into Season 2 of Sea of Thieves, so make sure you tune into the streams as we find out new things that are going on this season, find out maybe new metas. Check out the Twitch page, link is down below so you can check that out. I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.